Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, everyone. So today, the day of the sacrum in the emotional week of the month of Cancer. And the topic today is the trunk. Today I didn't sleep much. I am being like a bit down. So the trunk is, as for sure you all know, the hardest, strongest and firm part of the tree of a plant, which is the main canal through where all um, the nourishment of the plants um, go through, like the materials that they receive from the leaves goes down through the trunk, and the elements that they receive from the ground, from the roots, they go up through the trunk. So it's like a middle point of connection and distribution, and it's the known part of having these rings inside. So for sure, we all would know that the structure of a trunk, it is kind of like this when we cut it. Remember that a tree also has a marrow in the center. So if we cut it like this, we have this part here, which is here. So this marrow inside the tree is the one that is a soft part that absorbs all the minerals going up from the roots and bringing down all the glucose that is produced in the leaves. So this is the main central part of connection of a tree. It's a canal through where all the minerals, the water and all the things are absorbed going down for the leaves and the fruits, and all the glucose goes down also to nourish the tree from inside. So this is the point of connection, up and down. So for sure we know that lightnings usually fall down through the trees because of this, because a lightning is basically this discharge of statics in the of electrical pulses in the environment. So because this marrow is wet, it has this connection of ions and this chain of positive and negative by water. So the whole tree is like kind of a conductive tool of the ions of the environment. So this is why when there is a storm, the lightnings usually follow this connection. So it's easier for them to go down to the ground to make the discharge. So inside in this liquid, what we find sap. So the sap is like this resin which represents the blood of the plant. And it contains all the nutrients and minerals of a plant in order to distribute the elements along a tree. So this marrow here is very soft. So when it starts to grow and needs much more strength in order to hold the branches, it starts to get much more harder, and it gets covered by crust. which is this from the outside, but the crust starts to expand, and every year it gets a little more. A way in which you can see the age of a tree is by looking into how many layers, rings it has. So depending on the layers is the amount of years or the age of the tree. So the trunk is basically the middle point, the canal that connects the roots on the ground with the leaves in the branches. And of course, we will see this compared to us, obviously. Bueno. So we have exactly the same structure as a tree, and we call it the spine. So inside the spine, we have the marrow, and through the marrow, we have all these roots, which are the nerves. And of course, going up, it connects to the brain. So we would be like, the brain would be like this part of the tree with the leaves, the flowers, the fruits. Then we have here in the spine and all the roots towards the organs. We do exactly the same as a tree, in which through the nerves, through the roots of our body, we receive all the data and information through the senses, and then it's processed here in the brain and is given back to the trunk, to the tree, through reaction. So in the same way as a tree, we also look for light, which is awareness, consciousness, in order to do a proper reaction that also take us to create fruits in our life. If we see this comparison, we have the trunk and the spine, and they both does the same. So they are basically the axis. So the key that we share here is the word axis. We are axis of what? Axis in between heaven and earth. Along our life, a human being, as any other being in reality, are trying to find a straight axis between heaven and earth, which in the emotional way, we call it dad and mom. So this means that every human or every living being has an unconscious memory of the past related to the seeking of the axis between dad and mom, which for the future and the intention is to look for the axis between heaven and earth. So let's look into that. You get the picture? Yes. Well, can you see it? So let's analyze how this works. So first of all, to understand this, we have to remember that the idea of having a mom and a dad is something that for us as mammals, we have been keeping in our unconscious for thousands of years because we have been evolving with the concept of having a mom and a dad. A mom from where we come from and a dad where that we have to follow. So this has been through millions of years, and in our unconscious we have this recorded as something normal. So this is why we call Mother Earth and the celestial father, or the father of the skies. It's not because the earth is the mother and the heaven is the father. It's just because a perception that we have on things as a human point of view, not as reality. Okay, so just want to clarify this for us to understand. And of course, the reason why we call mom, is the matrix. The matrix is the womb of creation where everything is connected. Everything has this meaning all together. That's why the matrix is related to the origin, where everything emerges from one same spot. So the earth is kind of a matrix where everything is connected all together. And in the other side, we have dad, which is pattern. The name dad, papa, comes from father, comes from pattern. So the pattern is the lines that we have to follow, like the laws of the universe. So the laws of the universe are the ones that brings us to a purpose, to understand that we have to move forward, or what are the lines that we have to keep moving. So this is why actually we can read the matrix with the origin and the pattern with the purpose. Important to understand that this is just a point of view from our human perspective, so we can understand why we see this from the unconscious and why we see this from the conscious. So let's go into each one of them. So the reason why I put the mother here and the father there as a destiny is because all of us, besides the idea of being a seahorse or a starfish, we all, mainly mammals, we come from the mother. So the womb of the mother is a matrix, uterus, that create us. So we are the product of a matrix. But once we are born, mainly the mammals used to follow the male, used to follow the dad, because for most of the species, the masculine is the one that hunts, that opens the path, that guides the herd to the horizon. Okay, so that's why we can do that. Of course, that not all of the species, because, for example, you might know that in the elephant families, this is not like this. The female is the one that leads. But for humans has been the male. Since the very beginning, we just decided that the male was the one guiding the herd. Because of this old vision of our species, we have created the idea that we come from the mother and we go towards the father. Basically, that's how we have it in our unconscious. So in this path here, what we have besides the mother and the father is the structure of our life. Every human designed its life according to this structure. We all come from a mother and we all are reaching the father, meaning that We all has been born in a house, in a womb, in the safety of the home, feeling protected in our childhood, and so on. And then throughout our life, we have to move forward, to start to hunt, to work, to look for a new horizon, to grow, and to do it by ourselves. So we are following the path of the Father. But we have a problem here, that it doesn't matter if we have a dad or a mom or we don't have neither of them. This is in the unconscious. This is a memory that we have in ourselves that every human has. So looking for the image of the Father would be this searching of doing something beyond my reality, to transform myself into something different, to go into another statement, okay, into another place. So we are afraid of this because this is a place that everything can change, and I have to fight, and I cannot be protected anymore. So this is why we have a lot of things to deal with, because the mother is the one pulling us back, because it's afraid of what is going to happen, has to take care of the kids. So the mother is pulling us to the past in order to protect the kids for nothing to happen, and the dad is pushing for us to move. Okay, this is, as I said, in the unconscious way of thinking, besides our own mother and father. And we have, for sure, with this scheme, we have so much to work with in our unconscious, so many things to understand and to work in our psychology. So in the conscious aspect of reality, we all know that we have been born in a specific place with a specific culture, a religion, a tradition, whatever. That is our origin. So from when we realize about our origin, we also decide to do something with it. So to find a purpose in our life. So we come out from our origin to start do to start to do something different, to start to do something new, that is transcendental from the point where we started. And so we start to look for that purpose, to create even our own purpose, through a new philosophy, a new religion, the idea of getting enlightened, something that gives us clarity, that takes us to the heavens. So basically, in the conscious path, what we do is to try to create our life and to design the path towards a purpose with our skills, discovering our hobbies, and so on. So important thing to know, a purpose is something that is in front, ahead. So we in the spiritual path, we have given to the purpose a very deep and strong weight, like we have to say something, or we have to do something greater, or something like this. But the purpose is not that. The purpose is something that you put in front and you aim to reach. For example, a purpose for someone in life could be just to learn how to play the guitar and to make music. For someone could be a purpose to learn how to, or to learn, I don't know, whatever, to make a business. So don't put a high purpose up there, like, what is my purpose? No, it's just something that you aim to do. If you don't know what is the purpose of your life, just create a new one, just made up one, and go for it. So this path of consciousness is basically to understand, to be aware that we come from one place and we do everything to reach another one. So for sure in your life, when you come from one place and want to go to another, you will find out that you have so many struggles, so many conflicts, traumas, and all these problems that you cannot reach it. Why is so difficult to reach your purpose in life? Well, basically because the conscious is just the tip of the iceberg of the unconscious. So this part here of the conscious, the one that you recognize from where you come from and where you want to go, is just a projection of all this history that have made you, that have created you. Not only from your mom in this life, but every mom that you have had in all your lives, and all the times that you yourself have been a mom. And not only your dad, but every dad you have had in your past lives, and also every time that you have been a dad. All of that history is hidden in the unconscious, regulating, ruling the conscious. So basically, the biggest challenge that we have as humans, not only for today, but for every day and even after death, is to make the unconscious into conscious, which basically is to recognize all this history so you can reach your purpose. This is why it doesn't matter what you aim or do in your life, anything will take you back to mom and dad. So this is basically the axis. So this is why this is the axis of everything. We had a past and we are coming from an origin. This origin is related with our roots. And a tree cannot cut the roots. We cannot eliminate mom on earth. We cannot take it away because a tree would fall down. And in the same way, we cannot cut the branches and take away these, because otherwise we will lose the ability to find the light. So both of them are important. So the real problem that we have here actually is that usually we choose one of both. And for example, if I take care of just finding the father, the purpose in the skies, so I will lose power in the roots. I will lose ability. It starts to get weak. But if I just think about the protection of the earth, of the mom, of the origin, and I'm here, I will lose the ability to expand and to look for the light. So this is what the tree teaches through the axis. Because even if we are trying to reach the light, which is what we normally see from a tree, without the water from the roots, it will never do the photosynthesis. You shall honor your mom and your dad. May your kingdom come to us as in earth, so in heaven. This is why the axis is to find the balance between the origin and the purpose within ourselves. This is not about being the perfect family with mom and dad or doing the perfect process through heaven and earth. This is just a concept that helps us to recognize that we have to become mom and dad and the concepts of this inside and heaven and earth within ourselves. In our body, we receive the energy of the mother through the senses, and they all go through the marrow, spine to the brain, and the energy of the father gives clarity and understanding so we can answer back with our reaction. So the energy of the mother gives us all the tools in order to manifest through the idea of the father. So this is why when we say about the names mom and dad, don't just think about your mom and dad related to the biology. Also think about mom being here and dad being here. Matrix and pattern. So let's go axis as every tree. The vibration today is Zu. The statement today is I am vibration of matrix.